Hello, buddy, it's here, and welcome to my unboxing and review of the JoJo Super Action Statue version 3 Rohan Kishibe. This is going to be a really interesting video because for once, we are reviewing a figure of a character that I already have in terms of the JoJo Super Action Statue line. I have the first Rohan. There's actually 3 Rohan Super Action statues. I've already collected the first one, and now this is the third one. So this is actually going to be kind of like it's obviously going to be a review of this figure, but we're also going to be doing a lot of comparisons to this older Rohan as well. And I'll admit, I actually really like this first Rohan. I think it's pretty damn great. I'm expecting this one to be maybe a little bit better because I do believe this one came out a little bit. I believe this is a more recent Super Action statue. I think this one's a little bit more old. So I assume he'll be a little bit better, but I'm really excited to get him out and see just like how he compares to this figure. And, you know, we'll definitely take a look at how he looks with the rest of the Part 4 figures I have, and we'll even take a look at how you can kind of combine their accessories together. Like, he comes with Heaven's Door, he doesn't, so we can show how he looks with Heaven's Door. He also doesn't come with, like, his bag like this one does, so we can put his bag on there. So there's gonna be lots of fun stuff that we can do between these figures, maybe even switching out the heads. I'm not sure if that would work, but we're gonna try it. You know we're gonna try it, but let's jump in to the review right here, and let's start off by taking a look at the box as always. So we have version 3 Rohan Kishibe, we have Medicos Super Action Statue, we have Jojos Bizarre Adventure, there it is, version 3 Rohan Kishibe right there on the side. We have a nice picture of Rohan. On the back, we have all of our product shots, our approved by Shueisha sticker. Here we have all of the accessories that he includes. He does come with an alternate screaming head sculpt, which I think is very nice because this one actually only came with a gritting teeth head sculpt and not a screaming head sculpt. So that's going to be a really nice head sculpt to use with Heaven's Door, so you can have him going, Heaven's Door, which is very cool. And then you have a nice picture right there on the back, on the other side as well, and JoJo Super Action statues. And with that being said, let's open him up. I am really excited about this figure. I think he looks super duper cool, and even though I already have a Rohan that I would say is pretty darn great, I'm still really looking forward to checking out what we've got here with this version 3 Rohan. So there he is in the packaging right there. I will say immediately that I do prefer this outfit at the moment before getting him out here. Just from me watching the anime, I like this outfit a little bit more than this one, but we'll see if that changes in this video right here. So let's pop off the lid. And same plastic as usual. And here we have Rohan. By the way, if you guys are watching and you haven't watched The Spoke Rohan Kishibe, the spin-off to JoJo, it was a manga, but it does have a few episodes adapted into anime, and it is available on Netflix. And if you haven't watched it, go watch it. It is absolutely fan-fucking-tastic, especially the last episode. Absolutely amazing, well worth checking out. And also, before we get into this, I also want to say one more thing. I have actually found out recently that apparently there is a lot of JoJo fans who don't like Rohan. I don't know why. I mean, I guess it's because he did start off as kind of an asshole at first, but I personally love Rohan, and if you hate him, I'm sorry. I know I've said multiple times in my past videos, like, who doesn't love Rohan? Well, apparently a lot of people don't love Rohan, so I apologize for that, for lumping you in with that. I hate when people do that to me, so I apologize profusely for that. If you don't like Rohan, that's fine. You are entitled to your opinion, but I personally am a fan of the character. I think he's a lot of fun, especially since he's like Araki's self-insert into the show, so I feel like saying you hate him is like saying you hate Araki, which is like, how could you say that? But without further ado, let's jump into the review. Okay, what is my first impressions on this Rohan right out of the package? Well, I think he looks and feels awesome, as usual for Super Action statues. The plastic quality, absolutely no complaints whatsoever. We've got some very nice feeling joints right here. Nothing loose, nothing overly tight. I will say one of his legs is a little bit longer than the other, but it's not that big a deal because of the double jointed bend. You are able to kind of bring that back and then basically have the legs equal again, so it's not a huge deal. So even though it is one leg is longer than the other, and I absolutely hate that, I do actually think it's the same on the first Rohan as well, so it's not something that this one wins over when it comes to Rohans. As for the posability, At the moment, it feels about the same. Let's go ahead and jump into the review proper and take a look at this guy. So starting off with the head sculpt, I think the head sculpt looks really, really nice. You can see he has some like brown contacts put into his eyes right there, as opposed to this one where he's got the green contacts in there, and again, the green hair, the green little thing right there. So it's all really a matter of opinion on which outfit you prefer, because honestly, at the moment, I think the quality is pretty much equal between these two Rohans, but I really, really like the head sculpt on this. I like the outfit right here. I think this outfit looks really cool, and this is one that he did wear quite a lot in the series. This is the one that I think most people probably think of Rohan in, but this one, I think I actually might like this one a little bit more. I know I said I liked this one more at first, but I might be actually more a fan of this one, actually. It's a little bit more simplistic, and I always kind of do think of Rohan as wanting to be a little bit more simplistic. Like, his first outfit was actually my favorite. The first outfit that he has in the first arc with him and Koichi and Hanazawa, I think his name was, that's my favorite of his outfits, and funnily enough, I'm pretty sure that's like the only outfit that they didn't make a figure of, aside from maybe also his last one from the Bites the Dust arc. So yeah, but that one was super simplistic. I just really liked that outfit. And this one as well, very simplistic. And this is the outfit from the arc when Josuke plays CeeLo with him, I think is what the game is called, where you have the bowl with the dice and he's cheating with Mikitaka. So yeah, that looks really cool. You can see these like cool little what are these called? What are these things called? Suspenders. They go over right here and then they kind of connect in the back, kind of like how a police officer would wear, that kind of stuff. And the skin tone is a little bit different from this one as well. This one's a lot more brighter. This one's got a lot more shading on the skin right there, which I personally like. I think that looks really, really, really nice. And then you can see this really cool detail right there of the belt with the little pin things on it. And he does have a similar thing on this outfit, but this one's a little bit different. And I like this one a little bit more, actually. I think this is also a little bit nicer looking right here. This belt section with the silver right there, as opposed to this. This looks actually kind of smudgy and a little bit rushed. Still looks good, don't get me wrong, but I think I like that one a little bit more. And then the legs, I really like what they've got going on right here. I like this little detail right here, and that is not on this outfit right here. So I'm personally leaning towards this outfit at the moment for my main shelf Rohan right here. Very, very, very cool. And yeah, that does go all the way around right there. And then the shoes are also different. You can see those are the shoes on the new one as opposed to the old one right there. And again, I like these better. These look really, really fun and unique as opposed to these, which I mean are more simplistic, which would technically go against what I was saying earlier, but these are kind of fun. I kind of like these. I think these are I think those are cool little kicks right there. So yeah, overall, I think I actually prefer the look of this Rohan over the first one. Now let's get into the articulation, and it should be a standard, you know, you have your ball joint going into the neck. It looks like he can get a lot of movement up. Let me see how much the old one can. Probably a little bit less, actually. Probably a little bit less. Yeah, the new one can definitely look up a little bit more, just a little bit more. It looks like it's a lot more, but it's actually not that much more. So that is one thing right there. I apologize for the focus right there. But then he has a ball joint at the base of the neck as well, of course, so you can use that to get some movement right there. He has a ball joint in the torso right there, which this one does also have that. It was stuck on mine for a while, but I freed it up eventually. And yes, he does have a ball joint right there in the torso. Although I think this at the bottom here is either, no, it's just a swivel. So at the bottom, he just has a swivel. On this one, he has I think it's stuck. Let me free it up real quick. It feels like this one's also just a swivel. It might be impeded by the suspenders right there. Those might be keeping it from like moving around, but it's not that big a deal. But you do have a ball joint at the top right there, which I think is very, very, very nice. But again, same as the old one. The arms right here, so you can see there's nothing getting in the way of the arms here. And I will say this is one improvement of this one, because on Rohan here, these are kind of a pain in the butt because they're very loose. They kind of just like to spin around right there. This one's a little bit better, but they're both pretty darn loose, and this one just doesn't have them at all. So you don't have to worry about that on this version of Rohan. So that's really nice. And then the posability, so that's as much movement as you get up. I'm sure you probably get the exact same amount. Oh, actually, no, you do get a little bit more arm movement right there on the new one right there. So that's pretty cool. Let's check out the double jointed bend right there. He got really good double jointed bend on this one. Let's see how the new one is. Oh, yeah, it looks like he does get a little bit more. Only it's only a smidge more, but I do think it is a little bit more in the end. So that's really awesome. So far, posability is going to the new one right here. Let's see the leg movement. So that's as far up as the old one can get. And That's as far up as the new one can get, which I think might be about the same. Yep, looks like it's about the same, so no improvement there. And then for the double jointed bend, we have that much, pretty darn good. And we have, oh, significantly more on the new Rohan, significantly more. So that's very, very nice right there. And then probably the exact same thing for the feet right there, you know, up and down, swivel, and ankle pivot right there. So personally, I'm liking this one more. I think this is going to replace this one on the shelf for me personally. So this is still a cool figure. I'll still try and find like a little spot to have him sitting, but because I don't want to put it in storage, it's very, very cool. But this one, this feels a little bit nicer in my opinion. Now for comparison, let's bring in Josuke and Kira right there. So you can see how he scales with some other Part 4 figures right there. And he looks to be about the same. Well, actually, no, this Rohan is a little bit shorter than this one. So this one actually might be a little bit better scale. I don't know. Rohan was a tall guy, so this one might be accurate. But I don't know. That's up to you. I personally think it's kind of just okay. I really do think it's just a matter of which outfit you like. Like this one does have a few minor upgrades when it comes to the articulation and stuff. This is the only problem with these figures is they are very hard to stand up. Oh my goodness, please gracious. So yeah, it's up to you. It's really just up to you which outfit you like. In all honesty, while this does have a few minor little upgrades in terms of the posability, in all honesty, it's totally up to you which outfit you like because this is a really great figure. I do like how this one's a little bit less fiddly because it doesn't have these things wanting to freehand right there. And I do think it maybe looks a little bit sharper in like this area, but this still is no slouch. It still looks really cool. I do think the head sculpt is probably a little bit nicer on this one as well. It looks like it captured the shape of his head a little bit better. This one is a little bit more flatter, I think. So I do think this one is an improvement, but not like a huge one to the point that if you had this one, I don't think it's necessary that you upgrade it. I think it's a perfectly good super action statue, but if you want to, I do think you might get an upgrade here. But let's continue with the review and talk about that a little bit more in the final thoughts. And for another comparison here, he is with Jolene, just so you can get a look at how he scales with another Jojo right there. So there you go. Lucky! Yahoo! And finally, just so you can see how he scales with some other lines, here he is with the amazing Yamaguchi Todoroki and the Figma Yuji Itadori, which I think the scale here is pretty much perfect. Alright, now onto the accessories, which is going to be like kind of the dividing point between these two different Rohan figures, because off the bat, I think his accessories are stronger because he really just comes with a bunch of hands and some little stuff, but we'll see because we're going to jump into them right now. But again, if you have all these Rohan figures, you can totally cross their accessories together. And don't worry, I will show him with Heaven's Door as well. Do not worry about that. Actually, you know what? We'll just do that right now. So there is Heaven's Door. This Heaven's Door only comes with this Rohan. It does not come with this or version 2 Rohan. So if you want Heaven's Door, you have to get this one. Or maybe you can find it on eBay pre-owned or something. But there you have Heaven's Door. Personally, I like to take one of these little clear cubes right here and put Heaven's Door a little bit higher up because I think that looks really, really nice right there. So there you go. There you have Rohan with Heaven's Door right there. And I think that looks really, really, really great. It's up to you again whether you like this more than the original outfit, because if you have this, then you have this figure. So it's up to you which one you like more. I know I've said that like a bajillion times in this, but I think that looks really, really nice. I still haven't made my decision on which one I like more. I'm going to save that for the final thoughts. And as usual, let's kick it off with our alternate screaming head sculpt right there. So this is really, really cool. And this is, of course, in comparison to this gridded teeth head sculpt, which comes with this one. So you don't get a screaming head sculpt with this figure. So this allows you to get a screaming head sculpt, which will allow you to get him in a more effective Heaven's Door pose, which is super duper duper cool. Because this one's a little bit harder to get in a good Heaven's Door pose because he doesn't have a screaming head sculpt. So this is very nice. And let's see how it is popping this on. So we just pop off the old one, and this should just snap right on there. There we go. So there he is with that head sculpt right there. And that does look super duper good. And I personally want to try and see. I know that the hair won't match, but I want to see if you can actually swap the head sculpts, if this will actually go on here. I mean, It might look a little bit off, but I actually think it still works a little bit. Like, that doesn't look horrible in my opinion. It might be a little bit scaled up, but I think you could make this work if you wanted to. And let's go ahead and try the other way around as well. Let's try popping that on right there. That one doesn't really work. It goes up, the neck is a little bit too tall, so that one doesn't really work. And in all honesty, this one I wouldn't say is ideal either, but this one I think could work if you really wanted to have this one with a more screaming head sculpt. But let's go ahead and pop this back on right there, and let's go. All right, moving on to the hands. In the packaging, of course, you get the two-fisted hands, and you get a pointing finger hand right here, always great. You get a cupping hand. You get a hand to hold, I believe, the magnifying glass, which we'll show. You get a hand for putting his hands in his pocket right here, which is very cool. We will definitely show these as well. You get a hand with a peg in it right here. You could use this as just a standard splayed out hand, but this is for holding the bowl accessory. You get two dice hands right here for holding up the dice. That is, of course, Mikitaka in disguise right there, so that's pretty cool. You put this on him, and then technically you have Mikitaka on your shelf too. That's pretty fun. But yeah, you get these as well, which are very cool as well. So technically it's a two-pack. And then you get a hand where his pinky is broken because he fucking shoved a pen in it because he was trying to figure out how Josuke was cheating, and he's like, I'm gonna stab my pinky and then have you fix it once I figure out how you're cheating. So yeah, if you've seen JoJo, then you know about this. That's a fun little accessory. And then to go with that, you also get a bandaged up hand right there for the aftermath of that situation. And finally, you get the bowl right here. You get two sets of dice right here. You get one with snake eyes right there, 3 ones, and then you get one with a 2, 1, and a 3. You could totally use these for the Kaiji Figma, by the way. That would be really, really fun. If you know, you know. But yeah, you can just put this in the bowl right there, and you can have that right there, which is pretty cool. Sorry, it's kind of hard to show you there. There you go. Or you could just put all of them in there and have a whole bunch of dice in there as well. So that's really cool. They had some fun with this figure, didn't they? So that's a really cool accessory right there. And then you get his pen. Of course, you can't have a Rohan figure without his pen. Here's the one that came with the first release right here, which this one's a little bit more of a manga pen. This is the one that he uses to break his finger. But of course, if you get both, you can use either of these in either figure, which is super duper cool as well. And last but not least, you get the magnifying glass right there when he's trying to examine the dice. And look, it actually kind of works. You can kind of see Rohan through there a little bit. That's kind of fun. Oh, what the hell? Okay, so now let's start taking out all of these hands right here. So let's start off with the bowl hand right here. So you take this hand, you pop that off, and then you can pop that on right there. Have that, swivel that way, and then that peg right there goes in to the bowl right there. So there's the peg hole on the bottom of the bowl, and you can peg that in right there. And it's actually pretty darn nice. It actually goes in there very nicely, so you can have him holding up the bowl right there. You can have some fun with this, man. If you had like a spoon hand or something, you could have him pretend like he's eating like a bowl of cereal. This is a fun super action statue, man. They made this just to have a good time. Like, he just has all these goofy ass accessories. And then you pop in this hand right here, and this will allow you to give him, I think, either the pen, so you can slide the pen in there, although you probably want to put it in this way right there. So that's how he puts that, because that's how he like stabs his hand right there. So you can give him the pen right there, or you can give him the magnifying glass right there. Be careful, that's a little bit thin right there, but you can just get that in there right there. There we go. So you can give him the magnifying glass right there so he can inspect the dice as well. And then I also want to see if you can also, get this out of there, if you can put the other pen from the other Rohan figure in there as well. And you can, of course. So there is that. But stay tuned, because I am going to be checking out one more thing before we finish this review off. But I also want to show off the pocket hands right here. So we'll just pop off these hands, and I don't think you have to switch anything. I believe you just stick the hands on and you can just shove them in the pocket. They have the peg right there, which actually kind of looks like he's giving the middle finger, which is kind of fun and kind of fitting for Rohan. I mean, you could have some fun with that with Josuke. I mean, it's not optimal, but I mean, come on, if you did that to Josuke, I think you would understand what he's trying to do there, but I think that'd be pretty cool. And then you pop on this one right there. Just have these in there, right there. And then you just gotta slip these into the pockets right there. And those go in really nice and snug. And get that up and just get that into the pocket right there. That's actually really cool. This is far and beyond the best executed of the pocket gimmick ever. This is way better than Gappy, Jotaro, all of them. Like, this is amazing, actually. This might be the best executed pocket gimmick I've ever seen, period, actually. This kind of puts everything else I've seen to shame. Like, look at that drip he's got right now. That is actually amazing. That actually might be alone, like, make this figure a little bit better than the old one. However, I do have some words on that, which we'll talk about in my final thoughts right here. But that looks awesome, man. However, before we jump into the final thoughts, I want to see if this figure can make use of the first Rohan's figure's accessories right here. So if you want to have him with all the cool stuff right here, so like say you want to give him the pen, you want to give him this hand, pop that right onto there. Oh no, it's a little bit too loose, isn't it? Oh, no, maybe, okay, it is a little bit loose right there, but wait, that's not even the right hand right there. I don't even know why that was there. Let me see, where's the pen hand? Why was he not have, how did he not have the pen hand in it? There it is. I just want to see, pop that on. Yeah, unfortunately, it's too loose. No, that sucks. That actually really sucks that you can't cross the accessories, man. Because that would have been so great, because you could do that, you could give him the pen in that hand, and then you could put on the, well, like, I mean, I guess it kind of like sits there, but then you could take a splayed out hand, put it on that one. Oh no, it's too loose, but you could have him doing that, and then give him the screaming head. You could have had him have this really awesome thing of him doing that, because he's actually got the screaming head sculpt now with Heaven's Door. That would have been so awesome, but unfortunately, these hands don't fit. However, before we throw in the towel here, let me see, because he does come with this hand for the bull right here. Maybe you can make this one work. Sort of? I think you could, if you wanted to, you could make that work. It does kind of look like it's a similar pose, but it doesn't have the same effect as that splayed out hand. So it's not horrible, but it's not ideal. And with that, let's jump into the final thoughts. Well, actually, I did also want to show if you could actually give him the notepad from this Rohan as well. Right there. I know that didn't go on all the way. That's my fault. Let me get that on real quick. So you can still do this, so you can kind of create the same effect, and I do think this looks pretty good, and you can give him this little notepad right here, and I do think it looks pretty cool on there. I do think that works pretty well. Let me see if it looks a little bit better on the other side right here. Hang on. Yeah. Just barely get that off there. There we go. Have that on that side right there. There you go. Yeah, you can definitely combine them. It's just a shame that you can't mix the hands. That's the only thing that's a little bit disappointing, is that you can't mix the hands up right there. That does limit you a teeny tiny bit, but you can still achieve most of what you're looking for here. Like, I think that looks pretty good. It just would have been so better if that was a more splayed out hand. Well, you could use this one, and I mean, it has that broken pinky right there, but it might work. Let's just try it. Let's just try and see how that looks. I mean, yeah, I guess that kind of works. I think that's a little bit closer than the other one right there. So I think you can still mostly achieve a good looking display right there. So yeah, let's jump into the final thoughts on this. Alright, this review is more than long enough. Let's finish this up. Let's get into the final thoughts here. So I'm going to start by giving my final thoughts on this Rohan figure alone, completely ignoring the existence of this one right here. So on its own, I think this figure is awesome. Like 100%, I really like this. It's super fun to play with. All the accessories are super fun. This is by far the best executed pocket gimmick that I have seen so far in the line. Really amazingly done. All the accessories he comes with are just super fun to put him in all kinds of fun and creative poses. If you have the Kaiji Figma right here, you could have a lot of fun with these two together playing CeeLo. That would be super duper fun to display. I really like the alternate head sculpt. I really like the outfit. I like that he does have some more opposability and he does feel a little bit less fiddly and maybe a little bit higher quality than the first release. But with that being said, compared to the first release, I think he is slightly worse, slightly weaker, because the first release comes with Heaven's Door. Heaven's Door is not included with this figure right here. You only get Heaven's Door with this figure. So because of that, I feel like that saves this figure from defeating this. And this is a really nice Super Action statue. I haven't always given this the love and attention it deserves, but it's very nice. I will say I think this one looks slightly better. I think the head sculpt is slightly more accurate to the character. I think it looks a little bit sharper overall. I really, really like this one. Personally, I think this one looks a little bit better than this one, but that's totally up to you. And if you are only going to get one Rohan, like I assume most people are just going to pick one of the Rohans, I think that you'd be fine with just getting this one, because with this one, you get Heaven's Door, you get the cool little thing right here. You can have a lot of fun with this figure all on his own with nothing that this figure comes with. However, if you want to go the extra mile, if you want to get this one, I do not think you're going to be disappointed whatsoever. He is awesome. I love this figure. I think he's super cool. I personally like this one more than the old one. I don't think he's amazing. I don't think he's like super better or anything like that, but I personally like him more, and he is probably going to be the one on my main display. I do really like this figure. I think they did a really great job on it, and yeah, there you have it. I know it's a little bit of a complicated final opinion because I do love this thing, but I do think this one overall is a little bit more of an enticing package since he comes with Heaven's Door as well. And this figure was just really cool. If you want to know more about this figure, go check out my review of this one. It is available on the channel. I'll leave a link in the description down below to my playlist for my whole JoJo Super Action Statue review playlist. So if you want to go check that out, you can. But I personally love this figure. I think it is super fun to play with. Very, very cool. And yeah, I really like it. I'm going to hit this figure with an S tier. I think he is awesome. Alrighty, everybody. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, maybe give me a like and subscribe for some more JoJo Super Action Statue reviews in the future. And with that being said, this is DK Guillotine, signing out.